All right, so I think the next thing we want to look at after strengthening is making sure that length tension relationship is being worked on the opposite side, which is the stretching. So we have different forms of stretching, some that people are familiar with, the typical static stretching where you'll grab a position and hold it for X amount of seconds. But what we've been doing a lot with is sequential stretching. So we'll use different devices to kind of knead and roll the muscle groups, which actually break down the fascia that's around the muscles and allows to get a better stretch. So we're going to show you two drills, one for the hip flexors, one for the glutes, that will complement the two stretches that we give you. So what we're trying to do is stretch out muscles of the quadricep, the abdominals, the groin. So basically, we just elevate his foot a little bit in the back so it creates some tension down in the quad. He raises his hands up high so he gets tension coming from this direction. And he even wants to, if he can flex that glute, opens up his hip, and now we get the stretch through the hip flexors here. So that's what we're really trying to do, is to kind of get a nice stretch and hold it. Like I like to do more sets short. I like to do a set of 15, relax. A set of 15, relax. Right? So there's the mechanics. When this comes up, it pulls down. When this goes up, it pulls up. So those muscles that are tight from sitting now are getting a big pull. And if I can activate the glute at the same time, you just saw that little bit of activation, opened up his hip more, and now we're getting more of a stretch through this. So that's perfect. This is what we call a stretch out strap. It helps you assist yourself into some position. So lots of times when you're at the facility, a trainer will kind of put the stretches on you. When you're at home where you don't have a trainer to do that, the stretch out strap assists you with doing that. So it's just got some loops that'll let you kind of pull yourself in positions. So that's where sometimes the loops will help. And then he's just gonna lay on his side. So now, from there, you can kind of get in that same position where he's pulling back, pushing his hips forward, and he's getting that stretch through the hip flexors again. So we'll probably do that, then we'll take a little breather, go back, do another 10 or 15 second stretch, right? It's important that the body doesn't get all torqued up. You know, he's keeping in this pretty straight line. He's got his glute kicked in. He's controlling how much tension he's actually putting on that stretch.
"15 seconds twice on each leg."
Yeah.
And then move on to the next stretch.
Correct. So this next stretch we're going to do kind of works its way to the other side of the body and works, it's called piriformis stretch. All he does is kind of sit back, cross his legs,
Yep.
and he's going to reach through to either the back of his knee or the front of his knee if he has more flexibility. And I usually try and keep this foot up a little higher because it helps with putting some tension here. And really what I'm stretching right here is this muscle right here.
Okay.
So that can get pretty tight internally. That's a good stretch to kind of get it loosened up. So you had about 15 seconds, put it down. He'll go back to that same one, do the same leg, 15 seconds. He's probably got it a little bit farther back this time. He's feeling that stretch a little deeper. Hold it for another 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's about 15 seconds. Go to the other side. You're going to definitely find one side is tighter than the other. It's going to happen no matter what. Either the front's tighter than the back, the left's tighter than the right, the top's tighter than the bottom. So you have to go after the muscles that are tight in your particular chain of movement. That's what most of the stretches will be, 2 sets, 15 seconds. Like I said, you could take it up to 30 seconds, but I'd rather do your first set, you kind of feel the muscles that you're trying to engage, let it down that second set, now you know what you're going after, and you can really get a good stretch with it. Probably the more often you do it, the better.
Yeah.
right? But what I would get away from, don't do it once a week because you're holding it for a minute. Try and make it a regular part. This is something that you'd probably want to incorporate into your warm-up.
If you're getting good value out of this video, please push the like button and subscribe.
All right, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to focus on that hip flexor. Remember I said those get really tight and they kind of pull you into that unwanted position. So Tom here is going to show us how to kind of line up. He just simply gets a long foam roller, puts it underneath his hip flexor, and positions himself where he can kind of glide back and forth for X amount of repetitions. We'll say 10 repetitions. And he'll just kind of go from an origin to an insertion point and just kind of try and get that hip flexor wherever he feels tension. You know, he'll kind of go right in and target that area with the rolling. So he controls it. If you notice, he's doing it with his back foot, with his opposite leg, and with his hands. He can control how much pressure he's putting on his hip flexors. He can control how much distance he travels, and then he just gets a nice little preparation roll. All right, so here we are back, now working the opposite side. So we want to target the glute, the big muscle, you know, in the back that really gets tight. It's the biggest muscle in your body. It has a tendency to either get really tight or get underutilized. So either way, it's sensitive when we get into using some foam rolling. So what he does is just kind of crosses one leg, very similar to our piriformis stretch. And he's going to go up and down the glute, trying to find spots where he feels that tightness. Right? It's almost like there's some trigger points in there where he kind of feels little bumps, and he'll go into it and really try and, you know, target those areas with the rolling. So you might see him doing a bigger roll, you might see him doing a shorter roll, he might actually stop and target that area. So that's the key, just kind of cross your legs over and then getting that glute hit. It's going to become a part of your program every day, right? So when you're young, you can avoid it with 10 minutes right before you go on the court, maybe 10 minutes at night. Doing these exercises, you can avoid the situation. Yep. The more competitive you're going to be, the more time you got to put to this.
So we're talking, this is a lifetime. Basically, this is a lifestyle for an athlete from the time they are 8-9 years old, even if it is 10 minutes before they get on the court, and progressing all the way until they go to college and beyond.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
This is something that you'd probably want to incorporate into your warm-up. So I know today's my practice day with Mario. I'm practicing at 5 o'clock. A good athlete doesn't get there at 5 o'clock. A good athlete gets there at 4:30, finds a place. All you need is a little empty space. We just did everything in the sizes of a mat.
Yeah.
You find a little space, you take out your stretch out strap, you get on the floor, and you stop prepping your body. You do your stretches, then I would do my strengtheners. So I would probably do my stretches first, then I would do my strengtheners. Now, I'm giving you the tools you need to step on the court and warm up. Now my body's in alignment, it's functioning better. The muscles that were tight, that were going to give me some problems if I kept repeating that motion, now are nice and loose. I'm going to do what I need to do off the court so that I can do what I love. It's simple.
Well, Mike, thank you very much for your expertise. Thank you for meeting with us. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Awesome, thank you.
If you're interested on any of the items that we use in the filming of this video, I listed links for all of them in the description below. It is very important that you do the exercises together with the stretching exercises. It is as important to stretch as it is to do the exercises. Thank you for watching. For Senate Court Tennis Academy, my name is Mario.